Let's go to Uganda, stay within that region, where the millions of Ugandan employees in the private sector will benefit from the 2.7 trillion shillings that the Social Security Fund, or the Nssf, is about to share as their savings for the past financial year. Speaking to this and other performance review and the rates around their pension savings today was the country's finance minister, as well as the managing director of the Provident Fund.
I'm going to take a little bit for the 10 years. In 2015, when we set up our strategic objective, what we call Vision 2025, which ended June 2025, there are things we did not know. We did not know there was going to be COVID, which would shut down the country for 2 years. We did not know there was going to be mid-term, where suddenly the fund has to let and pay out over 500 billion shillings to members who came for mid-term. We did not know, this one you allow it, there was going to be parliamentary inquiry, where the rectors, or whatever it was. So we naively set our targets for June 2025. So how do we perform against that? And against that, what I just laid out. Remember, we said we wanted our members to have a success rate of 95% by then. If you look at just a movement, there was a dip. We had actually hit 94 just before 2021. Then when the parliamentary drop came, really discouraged a lot of staff members. We dropped to 82%. But by the end of last year, we had recovered at 91%, which is incredible. Not many companies go beyond 75%. Now, if you look at the thing that we look at one day payment time, we'll measure how efficient we are with how quickly we pay your benefits. Now, these are the numbers. We paid 1.32 trillion in last year, 1.3 trillion shillings in benefits, versus 239 billion in 2015. We paid 48,000 members from 15,000 in 2015. Our turnaround time was interesting. Our age benefit and mid-term benefit, most of it now we are paying it within 2 days. But some people get shocked, you come and put in your application in the morning. In fact, the best thing to do, I'm going to, if you come to the office to apply, it will take you more time. Apply from your phone. It's much easier for you to do it in your phone. It will come through and we're able to process that. It's a mid-term. Because mid-term, there's no risk. You are still our member anyway. You're only taking 20%. We'll catch up with you if you make a mistake. But we've been able now to make that efficient that we can actually pay it within the 2 days that we need it. The one that takes us long still is the survivor. Because survivor, there are so many dependencies before we can pay that we didn't have before. Now, remember we said that if you have an engaged staff and they engage our customers and give them the tools to work and they become more efficient, they will actually make the customer more satisfied. So this is over the last 10 years. In around 2016, what we did is not 2016, 2017, we changed the parameters because we found that we needed to be more strict in how we're doing it. So at that point, so we began measuring our customer satisfaction from 78% level, because that was what it was. End of this year, we are 88%. But if you're to most of global companies and they're asking what the satisfaction rate is, most are very happy at 70%. But Nssf, we think 90 is really where we need to belong to, not 75%. Now, you guys are the ones who can tell us how well we are doing in that service as we continue. So how did we do on the growth? The target was 20 trillion shillings. And given all the things I had told you, in fact, that there was COVID, there was midterm, there was the hearings that were disruptive, how did we do as a fund? So this is kind of a bit of looking at last year, what informed it. Look at the contributions. It went up from 1.93 trillion to 2.13 trillion. 10% change. Benefits that we paid up went up from 1.12 trillion, 1.32 trillion. Revenues went up from 2.53 trillion to 3.13 trillion. And our asset under management, which I really want to say, went up from 22.13 to 26.01. We hit the 20 trillion mark in January 2024, 18 months ahead of schedule, in spite of what we have done through in that case. This just tells you how countries have been growing. More and more members are basically trusting us with their money. If you look at the countries over time, Smart Life is one that I really want to talk about. Smart Life, we just rolled it off last November. And you just see what happened. So in November, the balance was 270 million shillings. End of June, the number was 18 billion shillings. In the 2 months since June, the number is 26.90.
The fund's assets under management increased by 17.5% from Uganda shillings 22.3 trillion over the financial 23-24 to Uganda shillings 26 trillion in the financial 24-25. Total revenue increased by 11% from shillings 3.2 trillion in the financial 23-24 to Uganda shillings 3.52, and I think Uganda billion 382 in the financial year 24-25. Members' contributions increased by 10.4% from Uganda shillings 1.93 trillion in the financial year 23-24 to Uganda shillings 2.13 trillion in financial year 24-25. I am also interested in whether the fund pays members' benefits when they are due. The fund has done very well on this metric, increasing benefits paid from Uganda shillings 1.12 trillion in the financial 23-24 to Uganda shillings 1.32 trillion in the financial year 24-25. Finally, every year I give the fund a challenge to grow and add value to its members' savings, to enable me to declare competitive interest rate. If I may take you back 5 years ago. 1, for financial 22-21, I declared 12.5%. Financial 21-22, I declared 9.65%. Financial 22-23, I declared 10%. And last year, I declared 11.5% for the financial 23-24. This year, I am glad to report that the fund has once again risen in the challenge. And I will not tell you immediately now. I would like Nssf members to note the following. 1, the interest rate I have announced, I repeat, at Uganda shillings 2.7 trillion compared to 2.0 trillion in the previous financial year. In monetary terms, this will be the largest amount credited to members' accounts in the fund's history. When someone does something good, you cheer him or her. It is above the 10-year average rate of inflation, currently at 4.2%, and 24-25 inflation, which stood at 3.8% as at the end of June 2025.